Here we go, everyone. The Walrus Clown here with a review of the 90s Anthro Dino show trying to ride the TMNT hype train to promote his own toy line, the Extreme Dinosaurs. It's as if you took Dinosaurs, Street Sharks, and G1 Transformers and then put them in a blender and had the thing come out to be palatable somehow. Because, given what I said about the show this is a spin-off of, Street Sharks, you'd think that this was dead on arrival. But it wasn't, don't get me wrong. It's only mediocre at best, but when your first outing is flat out F, a C- the second time around is a marked improvement. Let me show you. Anywho, onto the review. Order! Roll the title sequence! Now on to the technicals. Extreme Dinosaurs originally aired over on the Bobot Kids Network, which also aired both Street Sharks and Kong the Animated Series. Sorry, I didn't mean for this to turn into an unofficial B&K marathon. And before I really get started, let me go off on a tangent about the theme song. I was going to do a joke somewhere about doing a take a shot game every time you hear the word extreme, but extreme is said like 15 times and the song is only about a minute long. That's roughly an extreme every 0.067 seconds. You're better off just doing this. Anywho, on to the review proper. Extreme Dinosaurs was an American-Canadian animated series meant to promote the Mattel toy line of the same name that was about the adventures of 3 crime-fighting mutant non-avian dinosaurs, and one not a dinosaur but does belong to the same Archosaur crown group that dinosaurs do, but keeps getting lumped in with dinos for some reason, Pterodon, that somehow made it through the KP extinction event and are still alive during the 90s for some reason, and Chedra, their female blue-skinned mentor from another dimension that is a no-nonsense, by-the-books cop for that dimension's version of Earth. I know it sounds cracked out, but it makes sense in context, trust me. Anywho, in episode 1, Zardoc, a terrorist from the cop's dimension, pops out to our world during the Mesozoic and beams up a T-Rex named T-Bone, a Triceratops named Spike, a Stegosaurus named Stegs, and a Pterodon named Bullseye. With Stegosaurs and non-astrocid pterosaurs having become extinct by the time Tyrannosaurus and Triceratops having shown up in the fossil record. And I could throw a fit, but it's a common enough mistake made by cartoons. Anywho, I digress. The terrorist beams them on board and mutates them, and beams knowledge directly into their heads. Then tries to get them to be his minions as he goes home to do what else but take over the world.
Of course!
The knowledge beam must have added morals because our quad of do-gooders refuses. He dumps them, decides to make the next batch more vicious and less intelligent to make them more obedient, and does so to 3 raptors named Bad Rap, Hax, and Spitter, who will be our villains for the series just as Chedra arrives to arrest him. He arms them with gear and sends them out to fight the interdimensional cops, and the dinos join in out of a sense of morality that they did not have before. During the fight, Bad Rap, I know, terrible name. Anywho, Bad Rap hits the Earth with a hand laser Zardoc gave him and sets off the extinction event that kills off all the non-avian dinosaurs. Chedra sends her crew home in an escape pod and in an act of mercy stays behind to save the now sentient extreme dinosaurs by putting herself and them into cryosleep, which the raptors sneak in and do as well after the others are asleep because Zardoc flat out abandons them to save his own hide. And they sleep there until what we consider the modern world back during the 90s. See, I told you it all makes some semblance of sense in context. Anywho, it's episodic adventures after that, where the 3 raptors try to accelerate global warming so that Earth is more suited to them, not caring if every other life form goes extinct or not. And the dinosaurs stopping them. You can tell that the writers had more freedom to tell an interesting story. Because despite the villains being weak sauce compared to Dr. Paradigm, the characters were more fleshed out and had more personality compared to the sharks. And the show was not afraid to take pot shots at itself and was self-aware with just how goofy the premise was. With T-Bone being the snarky moral center, Stegs being more akin to Billy from Power Rangers instead of a Donatello clone, Bullseye is more of a TV-watching couch potato than a party dude like Michelangelo was in Spikes, while having the weakest character of the original 4 wasn't a complete hothead like Raph and Slamoo were. And Chedra was what is known as lawfully stupid, aka so by the books that she has no flexibility when coming across situations that the book never talks about. Later on, they added an Ankylosaurus named Hard Rock, who is this show's resident Applejack, with little to him outside of the fact that he's from yet another dimension where dinosaurs never went extinct. And there's nothing to say about him. He's a pacifist who only fights when absolutely necessary, and aside from that, there's nothing to him. For the sake of giving him his fair shake, let's just go over the episode where they introduce him. Have a nice dinosaur. Yeah, they were really stretching for that pun title, weren't they? Anywho, we open up on Bullseye watching an infomercial trying to sell a juicer on the home shopping channel when the signal goes out and he tries to use tech from Shedra's ship to try and get the TV to work again. Where some technobabble happens and surprisingly enough, they get the TV to work again for like 5 seconds. But then the TV starts picking up a Quadranian distress signal from Zardak's crashed ship. T-Bone and Spikes go to check it out because they don't want the Raptors to get their hands on it. And it will be passable if the animation wasn't complete shite action fight scene, the Raptors win. Capture the ship and the 2 dinos and activate the transdimensional whatchamacallit and try to reunite with Zardock. But being the morons that they are, they end up in yet another dimension where non-avian dinosaurs never went extinct and evolved into humanoid forms similar to the mutated raptors in Extreme Dinosaurs, where the raptors get completely disgusted by how the raptors of this world are getting along just fine without being jackasses to the rest of the populace. So they activate an aggression ray to magnify delay and reptilian aggression in the raptors to turn them into your average 4chan poster. While they get that underway, the Dinotastic duo end up at a juice bar being run by a purple-skinned Quadranian and her bouncer who has never actually had to ever work until later in the episode, the titular Hard Rock. After Hard Rock and the dinos have a lazy fight with some hopped-up-on-aggression raptors, they go to the beach, reverse the polarity or whatever, and reverse the effects of the beam, and pound the raptors to bits. But in the process, end up accidentally having the ship take them and the raptors home and accidentally bring Hard Rock with them. In an ending scene, the gang introduce him to Chedra, and they have an oddly, I want to say, romantic moment, I guess? It's never brought up again in this series, so it's just weird and not in a good way. Anywho, I really could see this and Street Sharks working with the reboot. For the sake of argument, say that the events that created the Extreme Dinosaurs happened first, and that Zardock was killed in a crash after the dinos were put in cryosleep, where the ship's AI continued to collect non-mutated animals and put them into cryosleep as well for later mutation. And by studying skin cells of the dinos after they wake up is how Dr. Paradigm developed his gene-slamming technology, which he used to create the sharks. That way we won't be limiting ourselves to just dinos and sea creatures and can have animal-human combos from across the time stream and have a wider array of modern animals aside from sea creatures. We could have a Marvel-esque interlocking TV universe. This is gift wrapped for you, Netflix. Come on, one of these innumerable ideas I've thrown at you over the course of this review show has to stick eventually, right? In the end, Extreme Dinosaurs was a mediocre but fun bit of mid-90s toy tie-in that was slightly better than it should have been, with a lot of untrampled ground that it really should have done something with, but couldn't because standards and practices used the "won't someone think of the children" mentality to purposely hold it back. Well, anywho, that just about wraps it up, and next is my 50th review. Only one thing could do for such a momentous occasion, and I've been blueballing you, my precious audience, for God knows how long. Teen Titans Go's time has finally come. See you then, everyone. Thank you for watching the video, and you'll want to hit that subscribe button, click the bell, and turn on notifications, because episode 50 is coming, and you don't want to miss it. Let's raise a glass to 50 more. See you then, everyone.